Yeah.
What does it call this, John?
Brace?
No, this joint.
Oh, like a saddle joint?
Saddle.
You can call it whatever you want. And just tell them it's English. Call it English saddle joint.
Bill, you are on. Welcome everybody to another Facebook Live here in the Woodsmith Magazine production shop. And to the YouTubers out there, welcome also. I don't want to exclude anybody. We're not going to notice Chris in the background sweeping up. Not at all. Not going to notice that. Company comes, you got to clean up a little bit just to make it look presentable like we actually care. So, kind of a quiet day. We're coming up on the holidays, so we have a magazine that's due out in the next couple of weeks, so we've been kind of frantically working on that, as well as doing some stuff in the video studio. So we're going to do a quick tour of what's going on here, and we're going to start over with Mark and his trestle table project.
Hello everyone, Mark, I'm the shop craftsman here at the Woodsmith Magazine, and this is my latest creation. It's a John Doyle special.
So
this is the trestle table that I'm building right now. And this wood was sourced from a barnwood dealer down in Winterset, which is South Iowa. All this wood came from a 1930s built corn crib. So some pretty old lumber going on here. So this is what I've done so far, some pretty traditional joinery going on. Lots of big deep mortise and tenons. And then we've got these braces here. We've got a, what do you call that again, John?
Saddle joint.
Saddle joint, there you go, an English saddle joint.
Yes.
With on one end and then the tenon on the other. So this guy, I must have used every tool in the shop, every machine in the shop, just to create for these guys. So come along nicely with that. And then over here is the actual top that I'm going to use. So we're going to leave this as a rustic look. I'm going to spray numerous coats of finish on there to try and smooth it out a little bit, but for the most part this is what the finished look is going to be like.
Now I know that in gluing up this table, like the tabletop, like it's big pieces, so there's that challenge, and getting straight joints on it.
Yeah.
But I also noticed that when you actually put the glue and the clamps on it, because we're leaving it rustic, there is some other details there.
Well, that's it. I mean, I can only join just the underside of this and then just one side, especially on the side pieces. So for the most part, as long as I've got a flat piece on the underside, then that's the only part of the top that's going to actually keep it flat.
Right.
So to stop glue squeeze out ruining this rustic finish, I had to put tape on either side of the seam when I clamped it together, and then pull the tape off and then just clean it up best I can so it doesn't spill and leak into all these into the grain. So
yeah, because I saw you kind of picking away at it.
Yeah. So once glue's on there, then I start sanding it, and then I'm going to see bare wood. So
right.
That's what I don't want.
So I have to ask, you called that an English saddle joint. What makes it an English saddle joint? Because
an English saddle joint, because I constructed it, so I get to call it what I want.
Okay, so that leads us into a good question.
Go on, far away.
Why are you here? Why are you in the States? So how did you come to the States?
Okay, so my amazing wife brought me to the States 10 years ago. We originally met in Australia. I was there backpacking with a group of friends, and she was there studying abroad from I think Grandview or Iowa University. So she moved to England for a few years, and then she got really annoyed with the English weather, as it was drowsy and miserable every day. So she's like, okay, I want to move home. So I decided to move back here and start a family, and
been here ever since.
Been here ever since. So
for how long?
Coming up to 10 years. It'll be 10 years in March. Well, I've been here, so yeah.
Isn't the Iowa weather so much better?
Oh yeah. Yep. So much.
Today when it's like 30 degrees out and it's been 50 for the last week.
We have 2 weeks of good weather.
Yeah.
A year.
2 weeks a year. So.
Yeah.
So now, what about your woodworking background?
My woodworking background. Okay, so I went to school in England to do carpentry and joinery. I did 4 years of college there. So as soon as I got done with that, that's when I moved over here.
No.
And then came here working as a carpenter. For the most part of the 10 years I've been here, then decided to make the switch to fine woodworking, as in the magazine here. So
what's been the biggest switch between going from carpentry to working in the magazine?
Biggest switch. I just get to using more unique tools.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of. It's been a big learning process since coming here. So just to get familiar with all the new tools that I wasn't used to before in the carpentry trade. So yeah, it's quite a little bit different, but I think I've managed to make the switch pretty good. So
Yeah. Especially going from like having to do a lot of site work compared to doing everything.
well, that's
in
it.
the shop.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of trim carpentry mainly that I was involved in before. So all in the shop stuff now, but
You're still building doors.
still building doors.
Can't show that
That's
yet, in case
for
your kids
my,
watch.
that's for my well, going on 3-year treehouse project at home. So my wife's watching this. I'm close to getting finished. There's the door. That's all I need to be done with it.
3 years later.
Yeah,
I've
so
got
I've
some of those projects.
Yeah.
So I've had the main structure done for quite a while. Just haven't got round to
Putting a
doing
door in.
that inside and doing a door.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
but
this
see,
is-
after doing the finish or the CNC room doors and then
Well, there you go, yeah. Now
the
I'm
big craftsman door.
I'm a door expert, so
Yeah.
there you go.
So is this an outdoor treehouse? You laugh. I have
John
indoor.
built it.
I have a couple indoor treehouses.
He built
so-
an indoor treehouse, what, last Chris?
The treehouse loft was last Christmas, but I have a like jungle gym in the basement. That's kind of like a treehouse.
No, I'll have to post pictures of it so that
Yeah.
you can see it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
not a competition on who the best father is.
Right.
Not even close, because John's kids have an indoor treehouse.
I make it up for in quantity and quality.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I've got going on.
What about your finishing samples here?
Oh yeah. So I've been toying with the idea of what to do with the actual finish on the legs and the feet. So this one was just some natural stain that I just put on there, then with some lacquer on top of that. This guy, I got the propane torch and burnt the wood a little bit, just to bring out the grain, and then put some lacquer on top of that, which is kind of cool. I like this. This is probably my favourite. And then this one is just some black General Finishes gel stain that's just been put on there, then wiped the majority of it off just so I can reveal some of the grain underneath that. So
So
You got a light roast and a dark roast.
And an
Exactly.
espresso roast.
Yeah.
I'll probably do some more samples, see what I come with next week. Get some more ideas. So I'm not completely sold on these, but
I like the roasted one.
you like the roast?
I like the medium roast.
They're toasted.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's my first choice at the moment.
Okay. See what Chris is going? Doing?
Yeah,
He's done sweeping.
He's done sweeping.
Clean.
I wanted to see what Chris was up to this week.
Hello everyone this Friday. Yeah, doing a little sweeping. I'd like to say that it always stays neat and clean around here, but we all know better. So Phil had asked me to talk a little bit about this workbench we have here. This was a shop notes project, and it is a nice bench. I've really enjoyed using it for a number of years now. It's made of straight grain fir, and fir is a little bit soft for a workbench, but it sure is pretty. So it's a good thing the company doesn't ding me every time I put a little gouge in it or something like that. I used to really be very, it would upset me every time I would scar it. But at this point I figure, hey, it's just a tool, right? It's okay.
They're meant to be used.
That's it. So things that I like about this bench is two big vices. We have a big face vise here, and I went ahead and put some masonite liners in it because otherwise it was just that soft fur. And masonite's a good, easy to replace medium for a vise face. You can of course line it with softer things like leather, but the masonite seems to do very well. Got a tail vise down here, and I've really enjoyed having that. That's something that I do not have at home, and it's a real treat to have a lot of times. So even if you have just dog holes and one of those Veritas type widgets, I think it's a great addition to a bench to have some kind of a tail vise or dog hole clamping system.
Now this one, I mean, it's kind of a discussion question, but this bench uses square dogs versus round. Do you have a preference?
I guess I like the square because the work doesn't tend to slip on the square ones as much. Now I know the round ones have a flat and it's serrated. And another reason is I just find those darn brass dogs in the round holes, they tend to get stuck. I see on other benches I've spent a lot of time hammering them out. And these are just very simple because they can be tapered and they have a spring built in. There's enough room you can do that with.
Yeah, so those are shop-made ones, right?
This is a shop-made, and there's one of the metal ones. I can't remember the brand name. I suppose it's a German.
Chris, is this a bench you designed?
No, this was
Kent.
Because this seems to be more Chris Fitch height
Yeah,
than what my bench is at home. This is a tall bench.
no, what is this? This is, okay, so that's about 36 and a
36.
half.
Yeah,
That's
so
kind of-
countertop height bench.
Yeah, I like the height. I do. You know, being tall, it starts to hurt my back for a 34-inch bench, something like that. And even sometimes we've used, I'll set kind of an auxiliary surface on top of this so I don't have to bend over. But, you know, it's do that with any bench.
Yeah, like that auxiliary vise that you made. That's that same concept of bringing it up higher.
Now this bench has a lot of storage underneath, and that's good and bad all at once. Love having all the storage. I can't honestly remember what's in all the drawers. And sometimes I wish this was just open here, so if I have a router or something that I'm working with here, I can just toss it under there as a temporary place to put it to clear off the surface of the bench.
Yeah.
Now, it probably doesn't look like I care about clearing the surface of the bench off right now, but sometimes I do.
Well, it's something Phil and I were talking about before we came over here, about how we would both like to have a closed bench at home, because mine's open, Phil's is semi-open, and they just tend to collect crap.
Well, you get
You
like
know?
a lot of shavings and stuff that work their way under the
Oh,
bench, and
sure,
then you have to try and get a
sure.
broom under there or shop vac or something. And,
I understand that. I have an open bench at home, and it collects everything.
Yeah.
and even the shelf, like I made a little drawer unit that's kind of like the one on Dylan's bench. You know, and then you put some jigs and, you know, little sawhorse things or whatever accessories, and then that all it creates like a visual clutter. But then anything that you're working on, there's chips and dust all over it, so it seems like regularly I need to just sweep it off or vacuum it off or something, you know.
Sure.
So I like that aspect of it.
Now, one thing I will comment on is the top. I've used a lot of workbenches over the years. This top has a nice, big, heavy face to it, and that's nice for clamping too. And the thickness goes back all the way to the cabinet. One thing that drives me a bit nuts on some benches is you have a heavy face and then it's just a void behind there, and so you're trying to clamp an object to the bench with an F-clamp, and you're having to put blocks of wood underneath, and it's just very frustrating. So that's a good thing about this bench. One negative about it is that the top itself is about an inch thick fir boards past this point here, and so it tends to be springy. So we're doing any heavy chisel work, bounce, bounce, bounce.
Sure.
And I tend to always end up going over the legs, where it's a little more solid than the center.
So what would have made it better? Would 1.5 inch stock made it that much better, or would you have
Yeah,
gone?
I understand. I mean, you know, this way the boards can be laid out, face up.
Right.
It's more economical, et cetera, et cetera. I know it would be a lot more wood, but it would sure be nice if it was just a solid all
4
the way
inches all the
through.
way across,
Yeah, or even if it was 2.5, just something a little heavier in here. And you know, maybe that's something we address in a future bench, where you know maybe there's a hybridization that can be worked out with sheet goods backing up some kind of a nice attractive face wood. I'm not sure, but anyway, that's, you know, if I were to say one thing that I dislike, it's that trampoline effect.
Yeah, that's that's how my bench at home is. It's made out of a bowling alley, so it's sugar maple. It's really hard. It's 2.5 inches thick or so, and my aprons are 4 inches. So I did 2 layers of plywood underneath the maple to kind of help make up a little extra bulk, and the weight of the maple was starting to make the top sag a bit. So
Are you happy with that? Did it work well for you?
I am, yeah. I will at some point rebuild a bench similar to this. I think I would like the close storage, but I would prefer to have a leg vise, I think, and the tail vise instead of just a face vise like this. Just personal preference.
Yeah.
And I now have the sweet crisscross from Benchcrafted that I need to use. So.
Well, here's a question that I have then. Is the bench that I have, because it's an open structure, I can have dog holes for hold downs
That's
and
what
hold
I like
fast
as well,
across
yeah.
the top.
Right.
Now, when you have it enclosed like this, you can't really do that.
Unless you want to sacrifice, 10 inches of storage.
Right. Well, and not only that, but then you're now creating a space that's going to catch dust and chips
Yeah.
in there. So
Right.
has that bothered you, not having any kind of work holding within the field of the bench?
Not too much, but there have been times where I wish I could have a hold down somewhere.
Yeah.
I know in the past when I've looked at hold downs in benches, they do tend to drop, the shank tends to drop into a drawer.
Yeah.
Right.
And that can be a problem, and then the sawdust and everything else drops into that drawer.
Yeah.
So there's no having everything in this world, is there?
Right.
But I do wish I had just a couple locations for a hold down.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks. Anything else you got going on?
More cleaning.
More cleaning? All right. Sounds
Don't.
cool.
I'll take you to the lathe. Don't touch the lathe stuff. I'm not done with that yet.
No, considering all my mess in there yet, don't worry about it.
Okay, before we show off something that John's been working on, I have you saw a Facebook post on the TV show site earlier today. I have this little block plane that was from Shop Notes 136, I think. And what's really cool about it is that it's got the Damascus steel sides. And this was the body or shell of it was a prototype that Chris was working on, and as he moved on to the production model that went into the magazine, this one kind of got tossed by the wayside. So I finished it up and then made the walnut infill for it. And it's really turned out to be my favorite hand plane that I own. Now the thing is though, is that whenever I've used it, I use it both one-handed for trimming work and then two-handed for kind of bench plane or smoothing work, is this back wedge piece, I don't know, just doesn't feel as comfortable to me as
It's a little flat.
as it could. It's a little flat, and I still end up hitting the palm of my hand on the adjustment knob, which I think ends up changing the blade projection sometimes. So I'm working on creating a couple of prototypes. I have just some leftover pieces of walnut from some other projects, so I've been working on just kind of rough shaping something, because I want it to function well, but I want it to look nice too. So I'm just trying to find out what's a good size and shape that I can use both when I'm using the plane with two hands or while I'm still using it one-handed, just kind of for those everyday trimming tasks. So I'll keep you updated on where the progress goes there. That one, I kind of like the overall shape of it, but it just feels a little big right now.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. I do like the longer bun on the back side, or the longer, what you call it, wedge on the back side.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives me an old English chariot plane feel to it, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool. I love old English miter planes and chariot planes
Right.
and stuff, and it's reminiscent of that. which is
Yeah,
kinda
or like
fun.
the block planes that have like the squirrel tail
Yes,
on the back.
Yep.
Because Lee Valley has their small little pocket
Yeah.
plane, I think, that has
Yeah.
kind of that shape to it. So I'm trying to get that kind of feeling to it, but I'm not, we'll just work on it. And I think that's the best part about having hand tools like this is, you can really do what you want with them. They're your tools after all. You just shape them and modify them. And
Make them what you want.
personally, I feel like you don't really own a tool until you've done some kind of modification to it, whether it's a power tool or a hand tool.
So does that void the warranty then?
Yeah, the warranty is totally shot on this one. So
Fitch
Plus-
Industries won't
right.
warrant it anymore.
plus being a prototype, it was kind of a one-off.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, the VIN on it just isn't even eligible anymore. So
Yeah. I'm guessing Chris. I know Chris pretty well. He might have made this Damascus, But he probably ordered it, right? You know?
No, he ordered
Yeah.
it. We got it from a place, it's called Alabama Damascus
Oh,
Steel, I think. So they
Where
sell
some
a
of the
lot
best
for.
Damascus comes from.
Yeah, some of, yeah.
From Alabama.
Damascus, Alabama.
When you think Damascus Steel, you naturally think Alabama, not Syria at all. So, no, they sell big blanks for
Sure.
like knives
Yeah.
and things like that. What's cool is you can get them in all sorts of different patterns. Like
Yeah.
they have some that are made out of like chainsaw teeth,
Yep.
where you can still see that
Yeah.
sprocket kind of
Yeah.
look into it. So,
Yeah, I've looked at some from onlinemetals.com.
oh,
I've been wanting to make a Bill Carter style plane, and I know that different Damascus,
Sure.
you know, billets there. So
yeah.
yeah, so.
You got anything?
Yeah, I actually have started working on a project again after kind of my little shop funk. Over the last week or so, in between filming, I've been gluing up these 4 walnut panels. It's probably been about a year ago, not quite a year, that I built my sleigh bed. Yeah, and the next project was a set of side tables for the sleigh bed, and that sleigh bed was based off a Thomas Mosier design. So I am sticking with the Thomas Mosier style and building a style of side table that they have. It's called their Vita Cube, V-I-T-A.
Yeah,
Pronounce it
Vita.
Vita, whatever. It's a little square kind of mid-century side table. Theirs has a curved foot on it. I'm gonna do floating, so they're gonna mount to the wall. So I have 2 tops that I've glued up, and I think those will look pretty good. They'll be left and right hand side of the bed, so I kind of kept this this light purple streak through both of them, which I
that's
think
cool.
will be kind of cool. And then these are going to become the bottoms. So I grabbed some stock that had a couple knots in it, and I think I can probably trim most of it out. There will be a couple I have to fill, but because it's the bottom, it will be the bottom of the case. You'll see it a little bit, but I'm not opposed to using stock that has some story and some
Right.
character.
Yeah.
So I've got these glued up. I have my sides glued up in the video studio. I'll clean those up, and next week I'll probably be cutting some dovetails to connect everything. So we'll see how far I get.
Right. Thankfully, you'll have an audience if I work it out in here too. So.
And that is true. Yeah. So nothing like hand cutting dovetails with an audience.
Right. No, that's there's the yin and yang of being able to do some woodworking at your workplace, like we can do over our lunch hours. So we can do stuff here, but on the other hand,
Everybody sees it,
everybody sees it.
and everybody criticizes it.
We're pretty supportive around
Well,
here.
yeah.
But
You're
I think
in a
it's
safe place.
I think it's more the intimidation factor. Is
Well,
that you got people like Chris and Steve.
Well, yeah.
and Mark.
I did not to imply that they criticize what we do, but knowing the quality of craftsmen that we work with,
Right.
That's where
Yeah,
it's like you feel bad.
You got to bring your A game.
Yeah.
Like there's fine woodworking, and then there's like, it's fine woodworking.
And sometimes
Exactly.
it's fine woodworking.
It's fine.
It's
It's fine.
All right, so you want me to take the camera from John, or you want to take it?
Yeah, you can take it.
All right, I'll take it.
Good, it's getting heavy.
One last look here.
I mean, you are holding all of those
The viewers.
All
I mean,
viewers on your
all
shoulder.
the
The weight of the
viewers.
world. One last thing, I have my Christmas gift for my father-in-law. So Papa, if you're watching, this is really your surprise, not surprise. So anyway, it's a set of drawers that are going to go under a workbench that I've talked about in past ones. What's really cool to me, and I think is underappreciated by a lot of people, is this is just some white oak plywood that I got
I
from
have a
a
glare on that. There we go.
white oak plywood that I got from a friend of mine, and just had some leftover pieces. So I made that sides out of that plywood, and then the drawers are again that same plywood with white oak handles where they're kind of integral to the drawer. And then it's just sprayed with lacquer. So there's no stain on here or no oil-based finish. And I really like how just the natural look of white oak has just a really fun color to it, just all by itself. It's not too yellow from having oil on it. It's not heavily brown or red from some kind of from a weird stain to it. So
Well, and that's something I've been saying, that as you've been working on this, I think we kind of take oak for, not necessarily for granted, but it's refreshing to see how good even plywood, which isn't always the best,
Right.
how good plywood looks with just a oil finish on it, like a lacquer
Yeah.
finish. So
Yeah.
it's nice, natural,
Yeah.
looks great.
And it's always fun to see that transformation of, when it's unfinished. It's more or less the same piece when it's unfinished, but as soon as the finish goes on, you really see the colors kind of jump out at it, and it just, it starts to look complete. So that'll be exciting to give that and see it in use. So
Okay.
it's probably the last week that you'll be seeing this here. So, John.
All right, well, we can go clear back across the shop. I'm going to leave a cord for you.
Thank you.
We've been busy the last couple weeks in the video studio, trying to catch up on some video shoots for Video Edition here at the end of the year. And a couple of us have been building some projects on video. We want to do some more step-by-step follow-along builds. Logan was building a small parts table saw sled that you will see here after the first year will that come out. And then we got a new Rikon drill press this past season. It's really nice, so we wanted to kind of up our drill press table game a little bit. So I've been on video this week building a drill press table, and I have the top done here. I still need to build the fence, and also comes with an optional drawer underneath with dust collection.
Is this the one that's in the CNC room?
Yeah, this one, the original is in the CNC room. It's pretty nice. It's got a double layer of Baltic birch plywood. We got some laminate on top, T-track for accessories and the fence to come, and then a replaceable MDF insert in there. So,
And the slots are for clamps?
what's that?
The slots in the table?
Oh
are
yeah,
for
and
clamps?
we have slots here. You can put the F-style clamp up through there to clamp down work pieces, and it just looks kind of cool. Got a little bat wing kind of thing going on here with the
So
black.
you have the black and the blue. Are you going to mask and paint the edge with the Rikon
Oh, I mean,
tan
hey,
as well, or gray?
if they want me to.
Okay.
I mean, I'll get a tattoo.
Okay.
Just gotta remember to spell it correctly. 'Cause I mean, so yeah.
You don't want a Rikon tattoo?
Yeah. So yeah, so I think this will be a nice upgrade to have in our video studio when it's done. And you guys want to see the video probably in February, I'm guessing, by the time it gets all done and edited.
So,
yeah.
It'll be up on Woodsmith Video Edition of the complete build on this, and around that time we'll probably throw up a quick overview video on YouTube, kind of advertising that. So look for that, and if you want the plans for this guy, it is on woodsmithplans.com. It's the woodworking drill press table, I believe is the name of it. So very fitting.
Except now Chris is using it for metal work.
Yeah. So either one. I
Either
mean,
one.
It's just nice. So was this your design, Chris, or was this?
Well,
So this is a.
and yes, Batman,
That's what you were going for.
the Batman
Yeah.
press,
Yep.
the Bat shop.
Yep.
I think I remember the design meetings for that one, and you had brought in some photos of tables from milling machines as kind of your inspiration for that one, if I'm remembering that right. So,
That could be. I was just trying to be different, unique, and add a little flair to the drill press.
right. So now, speaking of Chris and I have a seminar coming up at the end of December. It's our last one for the Woodsmith Live online seminar courses for 2019. We're going to be talking about dust control solutions. So we're going to look at, like here in the shop, we have a gigantic child-eating dust collector that has pipes running all over the place. But most shops, I realize, aren't going to be like that. Mine certainly isn't. So we want to talk about a lot of the things that you need to think about when creating a dust control solution. The biggest one is just having a cleaner, healthier shop. So if you have any questions or suggestions on things that we can comment or talk about during that seminar, I'd love to hear about them in the comments for videos, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. So join us for that one. And then also be on the lookout for the upcoming 2020 schedule for the seminar series for Woodsmith Live. You can, of course, buy and attend the seminars one at a time. And if you do it live, they're always at 11 o'clock, third Thursday of the month. You'll be able to ask questions and interact with us and whoever the presenter is. But you can always come back and watch them whenever you want, as many times as you want. You can also get an annual pass to be able to be pre-registered for all of the seminars for the entire year. And then we're even working on some bundles where you can get this year's, 2019's, and some previous seminars that we've done as well. So you want to look for those at woodsmithshop.com/seminars. Otherwise, everybody, have a great weekend, and we're not going to see you next week, so happy Thanksgiving.
Stay dusty, my friends.
Stay dusty, my friends.